Okay, hello Year 9, how are you? Hope everyone's well. Right, hopefully you will have looked at the Firefly page and the start of this project. The first things we're going to do is we're going to be doing contour drawing, okay? Now you should have a selection of dried objects. So there could be vegetables that I mentioned in the list on the task, or it could be shells that you've got, could be leaves. I've got a few different things here. I've got garlic. This is just a normal green pepper that I left outside. Mushroom, and then garlic, which didn't really dry, but it started growing, but it's quite interesting. Okay, so we dried these out because you can keep them for weeks and weeks and use over and over again. And also, it's much more interesting to draw. If you just imagine a normal mushroom and then compare it to this when it's dried, there's loads more texture here, loads more interesting surfaces and gnarly bits to draw. Same with the pepper as well. If it was a normal pepper, yeah, it'd be good to draw, it'd be quite nice, but this has got lots of detail on, everything's kind of dried up, the seeds inside there. And then the garlic, obviously it's all going on here, isn't it? Okay, so it's much more interesting and you can just keep them. You've got your own resources, keep them in a little shoebox somewhere or wherever it is you want to put them, okay? So as you go along the project, you might get a few more items. So you might get different sorts of vegetables, dry them out. You might find some shells that you had from a holiday, or so just keep you a nice little stash of resources so you've got them. It's easy. The more you get, the much more interesting your project is going to be, okay? Right, well, we're going to do contour drawing, which is, if you look at the examples on Firefly, contour it means the outline of an object, okay? So we're basically looking at shape, we're looking at scale and proportion, okay? So how big is this stalk compared to the cap here? We're looking at the main kind of wrinkly lines, I would say, but we're not going to do shading, so we're not going to be doing like this, and we're not going to be doing any mark making. Okay, it's just contours. Okay, so it sounds kind of simple, and the examples look simple, but they're very effective. Okay, so you still need to observe the object. So have this in front of you at all times. Don't have a photo, because if you've got the real object, you can make it look more realistic. And I think I can tell when people have drawn things from a photograph because it's got a kind of flatness about it. So if you've got the real object here, you can see, you know, the gaps between the stalk and the table, and you can see everything. Okay, so keep it in one position you're happy with. Let's move it, let's make it too difficult. Okay, and you've got an A4 piece of paper. We're going to do one in pencil and one in pen. Okay, so use the space. Don't draw something that's really tiny like this and think that it's going to be effective. And you might do, but I think personally it's easier when something's bigger to really just go for it. Okay, so I'm going to start off just doing a kind of craggy outline like this, nice and big. And we're going to do the first one in pencil because then you've got a scope to like rub bits out and change things if you need to. And obviously the one that we do in pen, I can't talk and draw. The one that we do in pen, you won't be able to rub out, but don't worry, go for it. It can make something really original. So if you think about it, whatever you do, whatever you draw and you do, obviously you can't sit and compare it to your friend like we normally would, but your drawing will be really, really original. No one in the world will have a drawing like this, okay? That's the way I think of it. Your own individual work. That stalk's a little bit bigger. I hope you can see it. Just put it there. Stalk's a little bit bigger here. Let's go a bit quicker. I'm dithering. Right, I'm not going to talk now. I'm just looking now at the outlines. That should actually touch that a little bit. So I'm just going to change it. Put a few lines here. I don't mind that. But we're not really looking at texture so much. More the contours. And I can see here there's like that extra bit there. And this is quite nice because they're not straight lines. So you can just kind of like wibble about and it looks good. Okay, so I'm just going to add a few of these lines on, but not over the top because we're really just looking at the main kind of like shapes. So you can see here it sort of bends in a little bit where it's all dehydrated. It's beautiful really if you look at it with the colours. Just a few like that. And that is kind of, let's add a few bits in here. Don't look at shadows so much, just maybe a bit of a line. Okay. I'd say that comes down a little bit more here. So nice and big is much easier. If you did something this small and you're trying to put all this detail on, you know, it looks more impressive if you've got a few of these in your work. And also you're going to see a progression as you go through this. Okay, what do we think? So I wouldn't take any more than like 15 minutes over this, okay? If I wasn't doing a video, obviously I'd do a bit more. Okay, so choose an object, make sure it's interesting. Okay, it doesn't matter too much if it's not completely dried out, that's fine, okay? And get a pencil, get started.